So please welcome Kuda Mangwe.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming to this presentation this morning. I trust that everyone's tweeted about it or put it on their Facebook or something like that. But today I'm just going to be talking simply about an idea that local government and other related industries can use in order to utilize this innovation in conversation. So it's about leveraging community the smart way of using social media. You've already heard about me, so there's no need for me to go into more about myself. So I've decided to structure this presentation as more of a narrative, sort of way to kind of start a story and see where everybody fits, and then get into the nitty-gritty of stuff, and then hopefully we'll be able to drop some gems which you can use for your own benefit. So I really decided to start right at the beginning with how the internet works. And these three gentlemen are responsible for how the internet first started. They're the ones who started Internet Protocol, and they're the ones who started the World Wide Web. And because of these guys, we were able to find other computers. We could find documents around the web, and we could create documents for ourselves. And then came these bad boys over here. The guys on the extreme left are the ones responsible for all the junk mail you get, and the ones on the right are responsible for how we access and use the internet. Google's how we find stuff. eBay and Amazon is a way of commercial internet usage. And the guy on the bottom right has contributed to many degrees because he started Wikipedia. So we were able to find information easier. We communicate easier using email. We access information differently. E-commerce kicks off. And then comes this thing called social conversations. And then these guys came and completely destroyed all free time by starting social networking. And so that's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and WordPress over there. So social networking rapidly increases. Publishing is made easier. Sharing is easier. Visual content becomes a huge part of our lives. Generational influences. It's okay to start a sentence with a hashtag when you're actually speaking to people. More transparent information and a word of mouth boom. Things went crazy. So the difference between that first slide and the slide we're at right now is simply because the internet became easier to use, and it actually had a purpose for everybody to use. As you can see, Web 1.0 had significantly less websites, and now this was from 2006. Imagine what it is, 2013. So Web 1.0 was about producing content for consumption only. You look, and that's it. Web 2.0 is about sharing content for active participation and sharing. And it's for active participation and sharing. And so organizations that find and absolutely love the idea of the internet by itself and the idea of how things work are people like these guys. Retail, sports brands, music companies, and so on and so forth. They absolutely love the internet because it's a great way to engage with people. It's a great way to share things. It's a great way to connect and find out what people think about their brand. But it's not so easy for these guys. You know, mining and in health industry and government, of course, they don't find it so easy, and they kind of feel like this poor little girl over here saying, when did we get past email in the first place? Because it's not so easy for them to be social. And in fact, they fear social media, and they kind of have this conversation. But won't social media actually show just how antisocial we are? And so they began to demonize themselves, and they say, what do we have to talk about? We don't understand it well enough. It's all social, and we're not social organization. We don't have time to deal with it right now. Who cares about what we have to say? It's too risky to start sharing. We've done fine with it for so long. Why start now? And my personal favorite, we're waiting on more case studies. Someone else needs to start before we start thinking about it. But so much has changed. Organizations started to see the cost-efficient benefit of social media. They started to see that it's much cheaper to put a post on Facebook than print flyers. And so they started actually thinking about social media seriously. And these guys created a phenomenon that has kept me employed, and I've called them the latecomers. The latecomers came with a few challenges because of people like this. Coca-Cola, 68 million fans on Facebook. Samsung Mobile, 4 million followers on Twitter. And this fat man who had us all dancing like crazy people, who's responsible for 1/7 of the planet dancing and doing frivolous activities. What this did for us as companies or small organizations is that it gave us unrealistic expectations, and my mother loves me dearly, as you can see. And it gave people this idea that large numbers dictated success on social media. And eventually people tried to play catch up or measure up with more established organizations. There was this obsession with viral. You know, if you put a YouTube video that you worked so passionately on and it has 38 views and you say, ah, man, I failed, it sucks, because it's not Gangnam Style. And so it made it very hard to stay in the game. And it created this phenomenon that we in the social media industry call social media ghost towns. We've all seen them. That company that started their Facebook page February 2010, and their last post was March 2010. And you've never seen them back. Social media ghost towns. And so because of all this happening, I'm starting to generate a little bit of a story. We've got 3 types of social media users in the local government and other related industry space. You've got those who are valiantly working through. They're trying their best to learn and improve all the time. You have those who created ghost towns. We gave it a shot and we quit. And then you've got those who still to this day refuse to embrace social media or any idea of something on the internet. However, today I'm here to tell you that there is a solution. It's as easy as a paintbrush and a Rubik's Cube. And the solution is not in merely having an online presence, but rather is in creating, leading, and engaging an online community. And then when you have an online community, you leverage that information to be able to improve people's lives or their online experience. So what is an online community in the first place? An online communities are people joined loosely together by a common interest with the potential to do the following: improve services and service delivery, share content with their friends willingly, influence people to join movements, create characters and champions, and provide a place to gather social media intelligence. And I'm going to get into that a little later. And never has there ever been a time when you can search for, identify, and communicate with any community in the world. The other day I was looking at some strange communities, and this is a community of 350,000 strong who come every day to discuss their passion for chewing ice. Ice! You've got these guys, the Zombie Preparedness Initiative, who come and discuss tactics of how to survive the impending apocalyptic doom when all the zombies come and eat us all alive. So if zombie people and ice chewers can find a community, what's your excuse? Are you telling me that no one wants to engage with local government? Are you telling me that no one wants to engage with people who are passionate about waste? They're out there. You've just got to be able to find them, engage with them, and give them something. So how do we grow? Tell people offline and online that you exist. Guys, you cannot create a Facebook page and just hope that people are going to come. You have to tell people, both offline and online. Right now you're at a conference. Check out our Facebook page. Check out what we're doing on Twitter, online. Put it in your email signature. You've got to tell people. Tell them why they should connect with you. It's so good to say like us on Facebook, but for what? Are you going to give me vital information? Are you going to give me discounts on something? What is my purpose for engaging with you on social media? Be present and visible. You cannot tweet once a month, or you cannot post things on Facebook twice a year. It doesn't happen. You have to be present and visible. You've got to show people that you're alive. Produce great and above all relevant content. And I'll get into that a little later. Facilitate what people already want to do. Study, study, study. Learn, 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 and improve, improve, improve. You're not going to get social media in one day. You're not going to get it in a week either. But the more you learn, the more you're committed to improving, the more you're committed to learning, the easier that it gets. And what you get when you start doing this properly is you get buy-in. And the reason why I put that is when it came to local government, the reason why local government started seriously looking at social media was because of the Queensland floods. And they saw how everybody was engaged and how everyone was organized. And they saw how effective it was in getting people to do things during the time of crisis. But you know what? They had put in the work to be able to have people to talk to. Imagine if you haven't put any work, a crisis comes along, and then you put it on Facebook for all 3 of your likes to say, please help us, there's something going on. It doesn't happen. You've got to get the buy-in, and then you'll be able to use it for your own benefit. Right. So what is this social media intelligence thing I've been talking about? Social media intelligence is insight gained into the people you serve by collecting key information from social media platforms. This information includes the following: their likes and dislikes, the content they respond to and ignore, some of their issues and interests, the touch points you share. And touch points are just simply places where your business and their needs come together and you have a common interest, and their true feelings about your service. Social media intelligence means that now you start to understand what the people around you want to talk about. You get better at talking to them around those things, and that's when you start doing social media well. If there's anything that you need to take away from this presentation, it's this quote here: be careful not to confuse growing your social media following with seeing success on social media. You can be engaged with 20,000 people, but if you're providing no value to them and they no value to you, what's the point? You can have 2 billion views on YouTube, but if all it inspires is 30 seconds of action, what's the point? Numbers is not what's important. Success on social media comes from learning what the people who love what you do are talking about with the things that you do. Ultimately, you learn that social media is about people, not profiles and statistics. What are the people who are engaged with your business saying? Not there's 38 people who we talk to on Facebook. Using social media intelligence is not a tactic, channel, or technology. It's a way to approach your communication to capitalize on the way people engage with your organization. Organizations should strive to understand that people value personalized, relevant content and connections, not interrupted messages, and I'll get into that later. The key to keeping a community engaged online is to provide them context obtained from the social media intelligence you have gathered. If they like pictures, do pictures. If they like blog posts, do blog posts. If they like infographics, do infographics. But don't just be shooting in the dark hoping people are going to like it. Get better at knowing what they want and give it to them. That's providing a solution. And leveraging this information you attain from social media intelligence and using it to either improve people's lives or their online experience. So that online, what I've mentioned about if they like photos, if they like so on and so forth, that's the online experience. But what do we mean by people's lives? I got this off of Ghost Town, the city of Sterling. If there's anyone in here, I apologize. I'm putting your dirty laundry up on display. But anyway, the city of Sterling, this is posts that were put on by other people. Now look at the top, it says someone has lost a family pet. And the third one down says urgent. Someone lost something from the airport and they've identified that it belongs to someone who lives in Sterling. Now this is what's happening on their page. This is what people are doing on their page. They want to put up information about their pet so that the people connected in their community can help them find that pet. They want to help people by being able to retrieve their lost good. And I put in a much more specific example. This lady noticed that there's something that's happening on Huntress Road. It's a very dangerous place because a lot of kids play there, but a lot of people are silly in driving. Now, the city of Sterling has learned this. What do they do with this? Like it? No. Get in touch with Laura Bannister. Phone her. Say, hey, we've seen what you put on our Facebook page. What would you like us to do? Would you like us to help you contact the police? Would you like us to put more signs? Would you like us to say something? This is the intelligence. This is the stuff that you get. And if you can show Laura that you care, she will tell everyone, you've got to get in touch with the city of Sterling. These guys help people. And that's what social media is about. This guy had a problem going on with something that was happening in the city of Perth. The city of Perth not only put him in touch with someone who could help him, but they also put him in touch with Lisa Scafidi. How great do you think that guy felt? That one tweet mentioned was able to get him a presence with Lisa Scafidi. If you don't understand what social context means, let's look at YouTube. And I want to see a dancing cat. I want to see a dancing cat. But I sometimes get this silly commercial about ice that I didn't ask for. What do? I wait 5 seconds and I skip. Your social media behaves the same way. If you keep posting things people don't want, they skip, they skip, they skip. And when they realize that all I ever do on this place is skip, they go away. And that's why learning about the people who are on your pages is very, very important. So the last thing I want to get into is the 5 deadly sins of social media. This is 5 things we do in our organizations that kill social media. I hope you're listening, guys. Why are we still on Facebook? I thought that social media was last month's campaign. Social media, ladies and gentlemen, is a commitment, not a campaign. Social media is an innovation on conversation. We don't talk the same way we did a few years ago. People share what they do. Yes, granted, people share things that they ate for breakfast, but people also share what your companies are doing. So you can't say, let's do social media for a month and go away, because the majority of internet users spend and invest their time on social media. Doesn't mean that they're playing, but it means that the people who you engage with at these conferences spend a little time on Facebook. Let them have an avenue to find you and communicate with you. So it can't be a campaign, it's a commitment. Segmented ownership, and this one frustrates me the most. There's someone in your organization, either one person or a group of people, who own social media. It's the guys who begged for it, it's the guys who asked for it. We need social media, we need social media. The company finally folds and says, okay, fine, do it. And then they're left alone. No support, no help, no nothing. And it just doesn't work. Social media is an organization-wide initiative, because what if the answers that people are looking for come from HR? What if they come from finance? What if they come from other places in the department that are not currently helping the social media team? It's an organization-wide initiative. Broadcasting, this is humanizing. So many organizations turn their social media avenues into newsletters, glorified newsletters. Come join us as we do this. Come and do this. We've tried this. Do this, do this, do this, do this. Have you ever been to a cocktail party and there's that one arrogant guy who can only talk about what he's doing, the holidays he's been, the eggs that he ate for breakfast, his girlfriend, his watch, his shoes, his tie? How many people want to talk to that guy? No one. So why do you think if we do it as an organization, it makes it any different? We ignore people who do that. So now just because you're sitting in the organizational seat, people are supposed to be different towards you? Nah. Humans are still humans. No broadcasting. Be human. And being human means listening and giving, Jack. Using social media against the odds. Let me paint you a picture. So you don't have a budget to print 10,000 flyers, but you need to get the word out. So all of a sudden, you go to the social media team, that poor segmented section in your office, and you say, hey guys, can you please put something on Facebook so that we can tell the world that we're hosting a rally in Fremantle? And we set ourselves up for failure if we keep expecting results from zero investment. So you've done nothing on your social media channels, absolutely nothing. And then all of a sudden, like a magic bullet, bang, people are supposed to start caring. People are supposed to start listening. People are supposed to start supporting you. You have to invest. You invest in the people who you connect with, and they give back. That's that buy-in. And the last thing, having ridiculous rules. A major component of local government is dealing with complaints. People who love to complain. People love to complain. But we have this deep-rooted fear of, oh man, if someone says something bad on Facebook, we'll never live it down. Guys, whether they say it on Facebook or at office or the corporate office morning tea, makes no difference. If they don't like you, they don't like you. But the benefit is, if you can see that they don't like you, you can do something about it. And the best organization in Australia that I've seen do this is Qantas. Qantas have dedicated their Twitter page to being able to deal with complaints. And my word, it is a barrage of vulgarities, profanities, and just absolutely ridiculous torture for the poor people of Qantas. But you know what? Sometimes they see that someone has missed their flight, they send people to the airport with tickets. And that person actually says, you know what, Qantas, I don't like you, but thanks for the free ticket anyway. They've given themselves the opportunity to see how people feel, and they can make a difference. So, setting up an online presence alone won't suddenly make an organization more social. The question for an organization to ask is not whether to use social media. The question to ask is how to make your organization more engaging. An anti-social organization using social media is still an anti-social organization. It's about people, not profiles and statistics. If you have 50 people who are willing to talk to you, that is awesome. If the ice chewers and the zombie men can find each other, guys, find your people and add value to their lives.
We're running out of time, so if anyone does have any questions, please approach Kuda throughout the conference. You'll be available all day, throughout the day. 30 minutes, okay. Well, anyway, another warm applause for Mr. Kuda.